Hello, 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 and mabuhay, Kwento Melia. Ever found yourself pondering why you've been left unseen, or perhaps constructing an intricate backstory for the ant carrying a crumb 3 times its size? Well, today, we're about to get lost, found, and maybe a bit spun around in the universe of overthinking. And making this journey extra special is someone who's no stranger to the winding alleys of the mind, though he's making his Kwento debut today. Please put your hands, ears, or antennas together for Nova.
Hey Earl, and hello, all the wonderful Kwento listeners. I'm Nova. I am a highly motivated and quick-learning individual with a strong drive for success. The background in cinema photography from Full Sail University. I also have a passion for music. I'm currently starting a career as a singer and voice actor. Oh yeah, I'm an overthinker. Thanks for having me on, Earl.
Well, right there you have it. That was the opening for his dating profile, by the way, everyone. I'm just kidding. We're extremely happy to have you here, Nova. Alright, let's kick things off. Overthinking, in my opinion, is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded. Nova, can you recall a time where you found yourself overthinking the simplest thing?
That's a great question. And I tend to overthink a lot. It can kind of put a damper on my days, especially since I took a career change from working in the hotel industry to becoming an electrician. It's kind of my job to overthink things now, from where the wires need to go and need to get through, kind of like sending me into a maze. A lot of the time I feel like a mouse trying to find the cheese.
That's an interesting analogy, and that's actually really cool, getting to work with electrical wires and such. And I believe you're also doing stuff with smart home setups, right?
Oh yes, those are a little more complicated. It's not as simple as the consumer versions, because when we install smart home setups, it's more of a permanent situation where all the internet lines and internet wires, or the cat wires, go through the walls to communicate with all of the switches and things. So that way you don't have to rely on Wi-Fi.
Wow, that's interesting. Alright, so getting back on topic, let's delve into the realm of love and relationships, where overthinking blooms like spring flowers, like interpreting scene on a message as a profound existential statement. Nova, got any juicy, relatable tales from the romantic trenches of thought?
I don't feel like I'm gonna go into the juicy parts of my romantic relationships. But, you know, in my experience, overthinking is normal, and normally happens when your partner does something that your last partner, your ex-friend or family member did that caused you stress or anxiety. It's normally the reasons we start to overthink, and we start thinking about how did I handle this last time, and how can I change the outcome? And then, you know, boom, you're stuck in that ever-winding loop of overthinking.
I think we all can relate to that, right?
Well, I know I can. All too well.
So, everyday activities can become epic sagas in our heads. Like, I once pondered the philosophical implications of post. Like, seriously? Post? Nova, any regular routine of yours that, when overthought, feels like a Shakespearean drama?
I mean, that kind of happens a lot to me. Like I said at the beginning, I like to sing, so I like to read the lyrics and figure out how I can put myself in the songs. And I tend to get a little overboard. Like, oh yeah, that's me. I am the person that's walking, holding hands with this person under the moonlight. And then I start overthinking about, oh, this is how it's gonna go wrong. And then, bam, it just dies.
Oh, wow. What an interesting explanation or insight there. So
That's Shakespeare, okay? Shakespeare drama.
true.
Most Shakespeare dramas end in death.
That's right. Like, wasn't that other? What is that other one with Romeo and Juliet or something like that? Like, he died, no, she dies, or they both die, or whatever.
Yeah, well, they both die in the end, obviously. But it started off because they couldn't. Their parents or their families were from two different families and didn't want to associate with each other. But so Juliet decided she was going to fake her death so she could run away to Romeo. Romeo found out that she died, didn't know that she faked her death. So he decides to poison himself, and as Juliet's waking up, he dies in her arms. And lo and behold, there's a little bit left over of that poison, and then she drank it too. I guess, someone should have overthought something or maybe communicated a little.
Yeah, should have just had, looped him in on that. All right, getting back on topic because we strayed again. How about nighttime? Like a sanctuary for some of our most profound, perplexing, and downright peculiar ponderings. Nova, ever had a 2 a.m. epiphany or brainwave that seemed absolutely revolutionary, but by morning it no longer made any sense?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Kind of happens a lot. I mean, I don't sleep much in general, but that's probably due to my overthinking. But when I have a good dream, and I was like, oh yeah, that would make a great short video or a TV series, and then I start writing it down, and then I start getting lost and flustered and confused. I'm like, how did I get this character from this point to this point? How did they meet this person? And then the whole thing just doesn't make sense anymore.
All right, let's play a quick round of What's on Noah's Mind. 3 rapid-fire overthinking topics that have recently occupied your thoughts. Ready, set, and go.
How do I finish coding my project? Living in the US, I feel really like my free speech is attacked, and I'm trying to create a social network. How can I motivate myself to work out? My brain says, get over it and just do it. But my body says, no, stay in bed. Let's go back to sleep. You work in 2 hours? And how can I save money after paying all of my bills? Just to name a few.
Oh, you didn't need to go that fast, but hey, it works.
You said rapid.
Astro did.
Okay. Let's turn the tables. What do you think, listener?
Just going. No.
You wanna hear what's going on?
Table turning.
No. That's your turn, Earl. Ready? Set. Go.
No. Okay, well, for me, it's not gonna be as fast as yours, but I'm just gonna name a couple things, okay?
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, I mostly overthink the actions of another person if I'm in a relationship or if I'm good enough at something. So, for example, with relationships, I tend to overthink about whether or not the other person cares or shares the same feelings. I also tend to overthink if their actions don't match what they say. I overanalyze everything until it makes sense, unfortunately. And that's like basically normal for overthinkers, right?
Yeah.
The second would be... Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, that completely makes sense for us overthinkers.
Yeah. The second would be, like, as discussed in a previous episode, the imposter syndrome, where I overthink whether or not I'm good enough or what I've done is good enough. These things tend to circumvent my ability to be productive and proud of whatever I'm working on.
I will say that your second point is actually, it does weigh on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah. Nova, do you have anything else to add?
Actually, I would like to ask you a question. I know that we've been going You know that we've been talking about a lot of the negative side effects or the negative sides of overthinking. Do you know any of the positives of an overthinker?
While often seen in negative, as you said, it can indeed have some positive aspects. Like, for example, being an overthinker could lead to attention to detail. So overthinkers tend to notice and pick up on nuances and subtleties that others might miss. This can be especially valuable in situations where precision and detail are critical. Another one could be depth of understanding. An overthinker will often analyze, as I've mentioned, overanalyzing, and reanalyze a topic, leading to a deeper understanding of complex matters. This can lead to more informed decisions and insights. Creativity, the process of overthinking, can lead to unique and unconventional solutions. It'll allow overthinkers to look at a situation from multiple angles, where they can come up with innovative ideas. Risk management, that's another one. An overthinker's tendency to consider every possible scenario can be beneficial, especially when assessing risks and benefits, leading to more measured and thoughtful decisions.
Those are some really good points. So the reason why I brought that up is because I just read a study from California University. Just to sum it up, because it's a pretty long read, but it goes over about the importance of recognizing that there are benefits to being an overthinker.
Yeah.
Focusing on the positives of an overthinker can help keep things on track and prevent it from becoming a source of stress and anxiety. For me, I learned that by embracing overthinking, my overthinking tendencies, I've learned to use them as an advantage, which I also learned from that study. But it basically says we can become more effective decision makers and problem solvers and creative thinkers with our overthinking, as long as we focus them in the right direction. That actually reminds me of a quote that says, get out of your head and explore the world.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And something to definitely take away.
Oh, I think so.
So, before we conclude our episode and unwind ourselves from the delightful web of thoughts, coming up in our next episode, we'll explore the symphony of silence, unraveling quiet moments. Trust me, it's going to be louder than it sounds. Thank you, Nova, for this enlightening and entertaining voyage through our shared mental mazes. And to all tuning in, remember, it's not about quieting the mind, but rather enjoying its whimsical wanderings. While there are positive aspects to overthinking, it's essential to find balance so that it doesn't lead to undue stress or anxiety. Until our next story time, this is Earl.
And I'm Nova.
Wishing you joy in every thought, no matter how tangled.
Bye, y'all.